Hey y'all. We back? Okay, perfect. I have not been live in so long, but I want to have a quick conversation with you as I twist my hair. We're going to be talking a little bit about budgeting, managing your money better this last quarter of the year, and really just getting your head in the mental space to just be better with your money, because it's October. November is right around the corner. Then it's going to be Christmas. So invite somebody to watch this live. Tell them hop on. We're going to be talking about all things budgeting and managing your money better while I twist my hair. So before we get started, can y'all drop in the comments, how are you feeling? How's your Friday going so far? I was honestly supposed to be live ever since 1 o'clock. I'm ashamed to say it. But a lot of stuff came up and I had to push it back. But the show must go on regardless. I just washed my hair and I'm about to twist it and talk to y'all about, like I said, budgeting, managing your money better this last quarter of the year. So drop in the comments. Let's see who's on. Hey y'all. We got Carla K, Rudy 84. Hey y'all. So just to get started, managing your money better this last quarter of the year. So for one, it's November. No, it's not November. Slow down, Kiani. It's October. October 21st to be exact. So y'all already know the month is almost over. So I wanted to hop on and do a quick live just to talk about the foundational stuff that we sometimes glimpse over and don't really pay attention to, but it's so critical for every single part of our financial lives. So I wanted to give you a reminder of budgeting and why it's important to budget every single time you get paid. So your budget, and I always say this, is simply your financial GPS. That's all it is. When you budget, you are basically telling your money what you want it to do. If not, your money will just sit in your account and honestly just wait for you to spend it. So it's super duper duper important that you budget. Not once a month, not every now and then, not when you feel like it, but every single time you get paid. So it should always be like clockwork. So if you know you're about to get paid next Friday or whenever you get paid, let's just say on the 1st and the 15th or the 15th and the 30th, something like that. The first thing that you should be doing is, okay, I need to sit down and make a plan for this money. Because if I don't make a plan for this money, then it's tempted to leave me in any way possible. And then at the end of this pay period, I'm looking like, dang, where in the world did all my money go to? So you really, really, really want to make sure that budgeting is a part of your lifestyle. And that's why I call my process lifestyle budgeting. And all lifestyle budgeting is not budgeting from a place of restricting yourself or anything like that, but it's really so that your money can work with your lifestyle. And it's a great way for you to kind of like just understand what you have coming in versus what you have leaving out. So for those of you listening right now, I want to explain the lifestyle budgeting method that I use, the one that I share with everybody, because it's really helpful, it's really simple, and I believe the simpler something is, the better it is because it's sustainable. When you start doing all of this stuff, like it's very complex, it's hard, it got all these twists and turns and all this type of stuff, it's just unnecessary. So if we're going to talk about the lifestyle budgeting method, the first thing that you have to do is understand what you have coming in. I feel like all of us, we know that very well. Like no matter what, we know how much our check is going to be, especially if you're like a salary employee. You know for a fact, like the amount that you're making in that 2-week pay period is not going to change. Now, if you're hourly, then that may be a little bit different, but we all kind of know how much we get paid on a regular basis. So that's the first thing. You want to write down your income. What do you have coming in from that job? If you have a side hustle, if you get any other sort of like supplemental income, and you want to write that down first. Just for this pay period, not for the whole month. I am not a fan of cookie cutter monthly budgets. And if you have been rocking with me for a while, you know exactly why. I just believe that if you don't get paid monthly, you should not be budgeting monthly. You need to budget every single time you get paid because, like I was saying before, your budget is simply a plan. So after you have written down your income, what you have coming in for this pay period, the next thing that you want to do, I would literally just draw a line in the middle of the paper. Put your income over here, draw a line, and then your expenses. So what expenses do you have coming in for this pay period only? Not the entire month, but this pay period. And when I say expenses, I'm talking about like your fixed expenses, like rent. I know a light bill, it goes up and down, but you can kind of do an average. You know you got to pay that no matter what. Your phone bill, if you have any subscriptions like Netflix, Hulu, Apple Music, Apple Storage, all of those small things that we don't think about, but they still add up. This is the perfect time where I tell everybody, pull out your bank statements. Because oftentimes we forget that we are even paying for stuff. But your bank statements, they tell it all. They have a track record. They have every single thing documented from what comes out on a monthly basis to what you just spend recklessly on. So when you are focusing on your expense column, you really need to pull out your bank statements. And I would start at the beginning of the month. I would probably even go to last month so you can have a full picture of what's coming out. So go to your last month statements and look at what's coming out for that pay period. And I would write every single thing down. Every single thing. Now, if it's gas, I wouldn't put gas right there because gas, it fluctuates. It's just different depending on how much you travel, blah, blah, blah. We're going to get down later to like how I put gas into my budget. But just for right now, I would just focus on those reoccurring expenses that you have coming out for that pay period only. So after you have written down your income for this pay period, you have written down your expenses for this pay period. The next thing that I will advise you to do is do some inventory. Ask yourself some questions. This stuff that I am paying for on a monthly basis, do I use this stuff? What's the point of paying for some stuff that you don't use? So that is a legit question that you need to ask yourself. Do I use every single thing that is listed on this expense column? Next question that you need to ask yourself. Is every single thing on this list still adding value to my life in some sort of way? If the answer is no, if it's not adding value to your life in some sort of way, then you need to get rid of it. Because we don't look at the small stuff, or we look at the small stuff as if like, oh, it's only $10 a month. But $10 a month times 12 months in a year, that's $120. Who can't use an extra $120 in their savings account? So I kind of want us to think about it long term and think about it on the bigger scale of things. Not, oh, this is just $10 a month. So first question was, do I use this? Second question, is this still adding value to my life? Third question. Y'all ready for this third question? Get your pen, get your pad for this third question. Do I need this? Y'all remember when we was younger and we used to have them talks maybe with our parents, and they would tell us sometimes, you may not have everything you want, but you have everything you need. And as adults, I feel like we have kind of strayed away from that because of this instant gratification. It's almost like if we want something, we have to get it right then and there. We don't factor in the financial responsibility. We don't factor in other priorities. We don't factor in our goals. We don't factor in our vision for our financial future. We just like, I want this thing and I'm going to get this thing. Now, is there something wrong with that? I'm not going to say that it's something wrong with that, but I just believe that you have to move with intention in every single area of your life. And sometimes by us over just, what am I going to say? Like by us over accumulating our wants, sometimes it doesn't make room, or it doesn't allow room for the things that we really, really, really need. And when I say things that we need in the finance space, I'm talking about things like savings, Things like putting money together for the future, preparing for retirement, putting money to the side to make future investments. So you're not working so hard every single moment of your life. And these, I'm not saying that it's going to like change overnight, but these are baby steps that you can take so that you can be in a different position one day, really, really, really soon. So as you are going through your expense column for this pay period, those are the 3 questions that I just want you to ask yourself. 1, do I still use this? 2, is this adding value to my life? 3, do I need this? And if you answered no to any of those questions, please get rid of it. And you don't have to get rid of it forever. Just get rid of it for a season. Yeah, there was a time in my life when I did not get my nails done at all. And to this day, like, I don't get my nails done on a consistent basis. Like, I get my nails done when I really want to get my nails done. But there was a time in life when I got my nails done like clockwork. Literally, like every 3 weeks, I was in somebody's chair getting my nails done. But as I started making more responsible financial decisions, and I was just being more intentional with my money, and I wanted to get out of this hole that I had dug myself in, I was like, what areas can I cut back from? Because sometimes you have to do a cutback. And not everybody can cut back from their finances, but we just got to be real about it. We are out here wasting a whole lot of money. And until you get like a clear reason why you're doing what you're doing and where you want to go, you're going to have the same bad habits. I thank God that I had my encounter early on, but me being evicted, or I wasn't evicted, let me not say that. I was about to be evicted because I didn't have my rent money. That just put me in a financial place that I was like, this is for the birds. For 1, it's embarrassing. For 2, I feel like there's nobody I can call because I'm ashamed, and I don't want to call my mama because of my pride. So it's things like that sometimes have to happen to us for us to understand why it's important to be intentional with our money. And God forbid, it's something like real tragic that you got to go through. But you just want to you just really want to be intentional. Does that make sense? Like, drop something in the comments if that makes sense. Pump some hearts if that makes sense. Like, if anybody needs me to explain anything, let me know so I can explain it before moving forward. Sometimes it's literally just about discipline. A couple of weeks ago, I launched a survey basically asking people like what they wanted to focus on for the last quarter, what areas do they feel like they need to improve on, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was this whole thing. And if you're listening and you didn't complete the survey, click the link in my bio because it's definitely still available. But I share that story to say it was one of the last questions I asked. What do you feel like you need more of? Is it more education, more like Zoom classes, more podcast episodes, discipline, accountability, blah, blah, blah? Every single person who filled out the application said discipline. Every single person, not the application, the survey, my bad, said discipline. So as I'm reading this, I'm like, dang, here I am stressing myself out. Like, is my content like not good enough? Do I need to be posting more? Do I need to like just be in their face more about their finances? Blah, blah, blah. I literally cannot teach discipline. Like, discipline that comes within. And me seeing that, it freed me a little bit of like this responsibility that I put on myself, this unhealthy responsibility. Because even the people who are locked into the Responsible Homegirl, who enjoy my content, they know themselves that in order for them to be in a different place financially, their discipline has to kick in. If you tell yourself, you know what, I spent $400 last month eating out, I am not going to be spending that much money eating out. But when the time comes, you just get off of work, you really don't feel like cooking, and you told yourself that you wasn't going to spend that much money eating out, you was only going to eat out on the weekends, blah, blah, blah. Now you just got off of work, you don't feel like cooking, so now you have a decision to make. Will I just bite the bullet and go home and cook even though I don't feel like it? Or will I go against my word and actually eat out this weekend or eat out this day because I don't feel like it? Most people, they gonna eat out. because they don't feel like it. And have I been there before? Absolutely. But that's why having a why is so important. Why are you doing what you're doing? Because if your why not strong enough, baby, that discipline is not going to kick in. It's never going to kick in. You got to have something that's worth saying, no, I'm going to stay committed to this. Whether that's your financial freedom, whether that's your time freedom, whether you want to expose your kids to stuff that you necessarily didn't have growing up, whether you just want to have a better life in general and that you don't want to like continuously just be working to pay bills, a little bit of extra every now and then, just not having a fulfilled life because of your financial decisions. Sometimes it just be us in our own way. So I stayed on expenses for a little minute. Now I'm about to transition to, after you have already written down your income and you have written down your expenses for this pay period only, there are only 4 ways to use money as a tool. This is when it's time to start categorizing your funds. So the only way that you can use money as a tool is these 4 different ways. For short, I call it SSIG. The first S is for save. The second S is for spend. The I is for invest. And the G is for give. SSIG. That's all you can do with money. So knowing that those 4 things is the only way that you can use money, now it's like, okay, it's time for me to plan out what I want to actually do with my money. What am I spending this pay period? Matter of fact, let me go back. What am I saving this pay period? What am I spending this pay period? What am I investing this pay period? What am I giving this pay period? Like I said before, you need to budget every single time you get paid. I know sometimes you're like, dang, I don't have no plans or I don't do this. It's going to be uncomfortable at first because you're not used to doing it. You're going to mess up at first because you're not used to doing it. So even in the process of learning how to budget more consistently, you have to give yourself grace. I still don't understand how nobody has taught us a thing about money, but we go to school, then they tell us to go to college or go to the military or go get a job, and we start making real money, and we're just automatically expected to know how to manage our money. That's nuts to me. That's actually crazy to me. So don't look at yourself crazy if you feel like, dang, I'm not getting this right. The best thing that you can do is consistently show up. Even when you fall down, say, okay, well, let me try this method. The lifestyle budgeting method, it may not even work for you. I'm just being real. It may not work for you. This is what works for me. Because it's like a perfect blend of discipline and freedom. I don't like to say like, oh, I'm only spending $200 eating out a month. Like, no, I make my priorities. I save. I use separate bank accounts. I do all of this stuff. And whatever I got left in my check-ins, it's free game. And when that money is gone, it's just gone. It is just gone. So back to what I was saying. You have 4 ways to use money. Save, spend, invest, give. Please do not be that person who makes their savings last on the list. When you make your savings last on the list, 9 times out of 10, you won't save. You'll keep putting it off and off and off and off and off. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Be intentional. Why are you saving? Don't just do stuff just to do it. Think about that last time you had an emergency come up and it literally took everything out of your bank account. How did that feel? Think about the last time a friend invited you somewhere and you really wanted to go, but you didn't have the money in your account. How did that feel? So when I say be intentional, you have to start thinking about the life that you want to live, the things that you want to enjoy, the opportunities that money can afford you, the options that money gives you. You can't ball out every single day of the week and then expect to just like, what am I trying to say? Like, you can't just do whatever you want to do with your money, and then when stuff come up, you be mad at other people or try to blame somebody or be mad at your situation. Y'all, it's not if an emergency comes up, it's when one is going to come up. Are you prepared for it or not? That's the question. Are you prepared for the emergency or not? Are you prepared to go on the trip or not? And if you're listening to me right now and you're like, Kiani, I hear everything you're saying, girl. But guess what? I barely even make enough money to save. I barely make enough money to go on that trip that I want to go on. I barely make enough to do whatever. Since guess what? You still have a responsibility in this. It's still something that you can do. Well, what can I do, Kiani? Make more money. Make more money. We literally live in an age right now where there is so many opportunities around us. Is everything you try going to pop? No. There are plenty of things that I've tried that I thought was going to bring me some coin, and it did not. But guess what? I won't stop trying. I'm not going to let a quote-unquote failure keep me from trying. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That one time that something didn't go wrong, now you in your feelings. Something didn't go right. Now you in your feelings. And you like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not investing no more. I'm not stepping outside of my comfort zone no more. What? Girl, if you don't go take that risk, because you never know. It's all a risk. Living is a risk. So if you're listening right now and you like, Kiani, I barely make enough money to do what you're telling me to do. I barely make enough money to have a balance of saving, spending, investing, and giving. Sis, go make some more money. It's possible. Go make some more money. The Responsible Homegirl is called the Responsible Homegirl because when I first started this brand, I recognized that money is such a touchy subject and people barely like to talk about money. It's very taboo. When I was in my financial situation, I was struggling. I didn't even want to talk about my money because, like I said before, I was embarrassed. I was ashamed that I had blew through my money and was facing eviction. I was embarrassed by that. So when I named the Responsible Homegirl, I was filling out this brand worksheet and said, how do you want people to view you? If your homegirl is really your homegirl, you don't care a lot about what she knows. Like, you're open with her, y'all chill, y'all got like a great relationship. You know, you trust her because hopefully she has your best interest at heart. But the other side of being the Responsible Homegirl is helping y'all understand that your personal finances are indeed personal. Meaning, we don't play the blame game over here. We're not blaming nobody for our shortcomings, our lack of financial education, blah, blah, blah. No, you are actually taking responsibility for your finances. So the Responsible Homegirl is encouraging you to be financially responsible. We're not blaming anybody else for what it is that we got going on. And we're for sure not blaming our places of employment when we choose to work there. It just is what it is. So I hope that this is making sense to somebody and is really getting through your head. Like, I actually have, a play in this. And if there's anything about my life that I do not like, it is my responsibility to change it. It's my responsibility to seek the education, the knowledge, get around the people, to do whatever it is to change it. Y'all, you don't have to struggle. You do not have to struggle. Is your situation going to change overnight? Probably not. But you don't have to struggle. Take personal responsibility for your finances and get hooked on a why that is so strong that keeps you committed. Because me telling you all day, like, oh, you need an emergency, like an emergency fund, like, that's not going to move the needle for you at all. What's going to move it for you is you actually experiencing something you having like a strong enough why to actually do something different. That's what's gonna move the needle. Busy said, preach. Listen, I'm just trying to help y'all, because this is the same stuff that I tell myself. Just because I'm your responsible homegirl, please do not look at me like I got it all together, because I don't. Honestly, a lot of my content, I hard down be talking to myself. Like, I'm not even playing with y'all. Do I always get my budget right? Absolutely not. But that's not going to stop me from budgeting every single time I get paid. I have to have those come to Jesus moments too. When I brought up the example about spending $400 eating out, I was talking about me. I spent $400 eating out. That was probably like back in May when I had that realization. I'm telling you, if you want to know about your spending habits and how crazy, you can be spending some time, pull up them big statements, honey. Because they do not lie. And that's another reason why I always tell people, like, stop using cash. Because when you use cash, you have no accountability. You have no physical accountability of how you are actually spending your money. None whatsoever. So, Tiana, hey sis. So I'm literally just twisting my hair. I have a speaking engagement tomorrow, so I'm going to twist it, keep it in overnight, and then loose it out so my fro can be froing in the morning. That's all. Just got here and you already dropped gems. Thanks, sis. Definitely needed to hear this. Of course. My money management skills is horrible. First it was I'm not making enough, but now I make more than enough. Ooh, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. I am so happy you shared that, sis. And thank you for being so transparent to even put that in the comments. So many of us believe that if we make more money, that's going to solve our issues. Y'all, it's not going to make a difference if you do not know how to manage the money. Let me tell you what a lot of people do. They start making more money, and now that you're making more money than you had before, you're like, oh, I got extra money. So with this extra money, what can I do? I've been missing out on some stuff. This is my time to shine. Sis, no, it's not. This is not your time to shine. Not yet. This is your time to build. This is your time to build. There's always an alternative to what it is that you're thinking with your money. If you're thinking, you know what, I'm making extra money, I can go shopping. Have you tried thinking about, you know what, I'm making extra money, let me try saving a little bit more. Let me get to 1K. Let me get to 5K in my savings. Let me get to 10K in my savings. And then as I increase my savings, ooh, this savings is beefed up. I have this for emergency. I have this to go on a trip if I want to go on a trip. I have this to give something to somebody. I have this to really put some money into my business the way that I want to. I'm telling you, y'all, there is so much more to money than just making it, spending it, and barely saving it. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it all goes back to why you're doing what you're doing. If you don't have a why for your money, if you believe that you're just here to work, pay bills, and have a little bit of fun every now and then, of course you're going to stay doing the same stuff. But what's your vision when it comes to your money? What is it that you want to do with your money? Y'all, money just gives us options. And guess what? When you have that vision for your money, now you can make intentional choices to turn your vision into a reality. Nobody's going to give it to you, and it's not going to just fall into your lap. So what's your vision for your money? I will start there. For some people, it may be, I just want to stop living paycheck to paycheck. For some, it's, I want to save enough money so I can start learning or so I can start investing in the stock market. Other people, it may be, I want to save up so I can start this business. Somebody else may be like, I want to create a life for myself where I can take at least 2 trips a year. 1 domestic, 1 international. And not pay for it with my credit card. Or if I do pay for it on my credit card just for the points or whatever, I'm going to pay it back off because I have the money in my savings or I have the money in my checkings, whatever the case may be. I'm not financing a trip. So think about it. What is it that you want your money to do? If you don't have a vision for your money, it's just going to be like a bad kid. It's going to go wherever it is. It's going to go wherever it wants to go. Amazon, Target, Starbucks, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, the mall, ads on Instagram, buying stuff that you don't really need, but it looks cute, so you're going to get it. And I'm not saying this from a place of judgment at all. I'm really saying this stuff from experience so that you can be like, dang, Kiani, you on my neck. Let me do something different. Tiana said, oh, yay, congratulations. I know you're going to do amazing. Thank you so much, sis. I'm actually very excited about it because it is a girls mentorship group. And the ages are between like 12 and 17. So I'm always happy to like pour into the young girls and teach them some stuff that I wish I had growing up. Hopefully, if they get exposed to it earlier, they can make better decisions than I did, than a lot of us on this call did. And now that I'm talking about exposure, y'all, that's another thing. Maybe you need to get exposed to some more stuff. Honestly. Because sometimes we don't think big enough. And we haven't seen enough to really want more. I am like a podcast like consumer. I listen to so many podcasts about like money, business, spiritual stuff. Like I love just listening to real conversation. And this was probably like last week sometime. I was listening to the End Game podcast. If y'all have not listened to that podcast, I would that podcast, the End Game podcast, I would highly recommend to check it out because it's super, super good. And the whole gist of their podcast is helping entrepreneurs understand how to start a business with the end in mind. And this one particular podcast episode, they had this black man on there, and he owns 50 McDonald's. Y'all, 50 McDonald's? And this man is in his 40s. I want to say he was maybe like 42 or 43. But it's not even about the age. It's about having the vision, having the know-how, having just like the wants. Like, who desires to even own 50 McDonald's? What? So in my head, when I saw the title of that podcast episode, I'm like, you know what? I gotta watch this ASAP. And if you're listening right now and you want to listen to it after, literally type in the End Game podcast, and it's one of their most recent episodes. So as I'm listening to this man's story, he is basically talking about his upbringing. His upbringing really wasn't nothing special or nothing fancy. His parents owned a McDonald's. I think they owned like maybe 3 or 4 McDonald's. But this is what really got me. So this man goes to FAMU for college. And before he graduates, every single summer he would have like all of these different internships and stuff. So his senior year, he gets this internship and is just excelling, doing amazing, blah, blah, blah. He does so good that they offer him a full-time position, right? So they offer this man a position. He was going to be earning $70,000 a year with a company car, all these extra benefits, blah, blah, blah. Y'all, this was years ago. So I think they said on the podcast, earning $70,000 back when he graduated is like earning $120,000 today. I think if I'm repeating this correct, I think that's what they said. So this man is 22 years old and he has that option. So mind you, I told you his parents had like maybe 3 or 4 McDonald's. So he talks to his dad about the job opportunity, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, yeah, Dad, if I come and work for you, like, what can you offer me? His dad told him, y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready for what his daddy told him, what he can offer him? Because this blew my mind. His dad told him, I can offer you $18,000 Yes, 1-8. $18,000 and a free place to lay your head. So you have $70,000, a company car, living in Chicago, moving back home with your parents, no rent, no bills, earning $18,000. Now, before I tell you which one he actually took, can y'all be honest with me and drop in the comments, if that was your situation, would you take the $18K, move back home, or would you take the $70K in Chicago? Just put 18 or 70. I really want to know where y'all head at. I really, just be honest with me. After y'all write what y'all put in the comments, I'm going to tell you which one I would have did. I'm going to give y'all some time. Please tell me, right in the comments, would you have taken $70K, company car, living in Chicago, or $18,000 living at home? Right, 22 years old, $70K. I do not blame y'all. I think about the 21-year-old Kiani. If it was up to me, Dad, 18,000 what? If you don't get out of my face, $18,000, and they're offering me $70,000, and I'm gonna work harder at McDonald's because this is a restaurant, it's physical labor. Yes, I'm a manager, but I mean, it's still work. Y'all, please tell me why this man decided to go back home, live with his parents, earning $18,000 a year. $18,000 a year. He said he just felt obligated because he didn't have student loans. His parents took care of him, had a great upbringing, blah, blah, blah. Oh, excuse me, wanted to continue in the family business. Now, fast forward years later, he owns 50 McDonald's. So when I say sometimes you just have to expose yourself to more, y'all gotta start listening, and I say listening, y'all gotta start changing up what y'all listen to. Like, yes, the music we listen to, is great. The TV shows we watch is great. But if you want to be in a different place, you got to get exposed to more. You got to get exposed to more. Because even me, I grew up in a great family. But the type of life that I want to live, I haven't seen before, not in close proximity to me. So you have to get exposed. Let's say it definitely paid off. Oh, for sure. Yes. It definitely paid off. And another thing that I want y'all to get from this story is don't discount where you are right now. And I shared something on my personal page yesterday about sometimes I'm so hard on myself, and I'm always thinking I gotta perform and I gotta do more and I'm not doing enough and just all of this stuff. And God has really been dealing with me with contentment. Not being complacent, but being content with where you are right now in this present moment. And I just want to share with everybody, be content with where you are. Don't discount this present moment, because where you are right now is exactly where God wants you. And if we are too busy focusing on our next, we can kind of mess up our now. So you gotta really look for the lesson in every single season of your life. Yes, you may not be where you want to be financially. Yes, you may wish that you're someplace else. But I promise you, you are where you are for a purpose. You are where you are for a purpose. Do not be discouraged. Do not be down on yourself. Like I said, that man took an $18,000 offer when he also had $70,000 on the table. Now, years later, he owns 50 McDonald's. And yes, it's a black man. A black man. Sometimes, and I say that because sometimes we have to see ourselves represented in other people to believe that it's possible for us. So me seeing that black man in his 40s owning 50 McDonald's, I'm like, Kiani, girl, if you don't stop playing, girl, if you don't think bigger, let's be for real. So I say all of that to say, just expose yourself to a little bit more. Think a little bit bigger. That's all. I really want the best for every single person that I encounter. And anybody that knows me knows, like, I am willing to do whatever to help you move forward. Any knowledge that I have that I can share, I'm sharing it. Anything that I feel like is beneficial that can help, I'm sharing it. And I want all of us to really, like, just adopt that mindset on our journeys of becoming. Lord, I took so long talking. Let's see what y'all saying in the comments. Fair enough. Don't discount where I am right now. Yes, sis. Do not discount it. Facts. Gems, girl. Thanks for sharing. Of course. Of course. And if you missed it, the podcast that I'm talking about is called The End Game Podcast. And I think the title of it was like, how this man owns 50 McDonalds or something. Like, you can't miss it. It has 50 McDonald's in it. But hearing that, I was like, Jesus. That is a story. It was really, really, really good. Where did I stop at? I want to say I stopped at, like, the different ways you can categorize your money. But we talked about write down your income for this pay period, write down your expenses for this pay period, then categorize your money into 4 different boxes. What are you saving? What are you spending? What are you investing? What are you giving? And I'll just challenge you, as you write down your numbers, add a why to it. Get you a little journal or take out the notes app on your phone and write down why. Why are you saving $200 this pay period? Why are you saving $100 this pay period? Why are you investing, or why are you, like, why? Because as you understand your why, it's going to put you in a better place, and it's going to encourage you to be more consistent. Yeah, I'm looking for a water bottle because my hair is getting dry. Okay. Definitely don't see one. So the next thing, Christmas is coming up. We're in October. So literally we only have like a few weeks. And Christmas is a time where a lot of people go into a lot of debt because they want to buy these people these gifts with money that they don't really have. And I want to encourage everybody listening right now, if you can avoid the debt, matter of fact, you can avoid the debt. So I will say avoid the debt. Like, you do not have to take out credit card debt to get somebody something for Christmas. Like, honestly, if you really love the person really loves you, I'm pretty sure they will be more happy with something, or happier with something that is thoughtful, not something that just has the highest price tag in the store. We're only going to get a few more paychecks before Christmas. So if you haven't been, like, saving throughout the year, then this is the time right now where you kind of, like, need to start budgeting for it. Like, okay, I'm spending this amount on my mom, I'm spending this amount on my sisters, on an auntie, like, whatever it is. Like, you need to go ahead and start thinking about that right now. Because when I tell you the weeks are going to go by very fast, they're going to come very fast. And I do not want you to be in the number. I can't even remember the statistic, so I don't want to say it here and just give out wrong information. But it's a good amount of people who get in debt, specifically around the holiday season. Hey, girl. Y'all, that's Deronda. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. So, yes, as y'all think about Christmas, think about everybody that you're buying stuff for. I will honestly start off with writing down every single person that I'm buying a gift for. If you are in any sort of groups and you might be doing a white elephant, which is like a gift exchange, or if you're doing like a Christmas party at work, like, yes, all of that stuff counts. I would literally write down every single person that you have to buy a gift for, because you do not want to be looking at your bank account or your credit card statement in January like, I spent all this money buying gifts that I did not prepare for. And God forbid something comes up and you done bought people gifts and you have nothing, like you got to go back into, like, not even your savings, or you just got to go into debt because you don't have the money. So you got to swipe your credit card. So that's why it's so important for us to go ahead and start preparing right now. So who are you buying stuff for, and how much are you willing to spend per gift? Do not go in them people's stores without a plan. When we go into Target, Walmart, the mall, y'all, we just literally picking up stuff that we think this person will like, and we adding it without regards to our finances. So I really want you to think about it. Before you go shopping, get a plan. Before you pull out your driveway, I need you to have your plan in your pocket. Whether that's on your phone, whether that's actually written down, have a plan. Have a plan. The next thing, podcast series. Matter of fact, before I get to that, if anybody is like starting to like map out what you're actually buying stuff, who you're actually buying stuff for, or how to budget for Christmas gifts and all this stuff, if you start that and you actually need some help, just come back next Friday. I'm going to start like going live every single Friday. And this will be a space where you can ask me questions. You can get insight, advice. If you need help before Friday, just DM me. Y'all know I am DM friendly. I will always answer y'all questions. But I just want you to go into November and December prepared for what's to come. So now next, the podcast series. So I talked about this yesterday on my personal page. So I launched a podcast series called Developing a Rich Mindset. And it was based off of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is like one of my favorite personal finance books. And the final episode was released today. So it was like a 4-part series. And it was really focusing on like building your money mindset, building your foundation, different stuff like that. It was super good. So I just kind of wanted to share with y'all, if you didn't get a chance to listen to any of the podcast episodes in that series, go back and watch it. Go back and watch it. Rich Dad Poor Dad has not been like one of the best-selling personal finance books for over 20 years for no reason. And I'm going to just leave that there. And I know for a fact, everybody that I tell about this book, they're not going to read it. That's just the God honest truth. So because I know that, I created something that you can listen to, that you can watch in your spare time. And the episodes aren't even that long. They're probably like 20 minutes. So it's a great way for you to get a book summary and just sow some seeds. Now, am I saying that you still don't need to read it? Absolutely not. Because I still think you need to read the book. But it's a great way for you to go ahead and get started listening and consuming some of that stuff that the book talks about, especially as we go into the new year. Can we be honest right quick? And I'll start off with me. So at the beginning of this year, I wrote down like all these different finance goals that I had. And this year went like, for one, it went by very quick. And it went very different than what I thought it was going to go. Y'all know they always say, like, tell God your plans so he can laugh or whatever. And I believe that to be true. But has anybody looked back over their financial goals that you made at the beginning of the year? Did y'all even make financial goals at the beginning of the year? Comment and let me know, please. Did you make financial goals at the beginning of the year? And have you looked back at those goals? Just comment yes or no. I really, really, really am intrigued. While y'all are responding, I'll tell you why y'all ask. Oftentimes we make these goals and then we get right back into our routines and forget we even made the goals. Or things happen, things come up, and, you know, life just be life and they don't go as planned. So somebody said, I was so irresponsible, I ain't achieved not one of them. OMG. Yeah, you need a responsible homegirl for sure. Not one of them. But guess what? The year not over. The year is not over. And thank you for sharing that and being so transparent. The year is not over. Anybody else Did you make financial goals at the beginning of this year? Have you looked back at those financial goals? I really want to know. Hey, neighbor. Hey! How are you? So the reason why I asked that question, I told y'all the reason already. But same with me. I had these financial goals that I wrote at the beginning of the year. And I actually might share them on IG later on. Not right now, but I'll probably share them at the end of the year. I had these financial goals and my year went like, when I say totally different, literally totally different than what I thought it was going to go. But as we are making our financial goals, like all of that goes back to what I say, be intentional with your financial decisions. Because you can't look at it like, what am I trying to say? You can't look at your goal as if like something grand is going to happen and then boom, you accomplish the goal. No. You have to look at your goals like every single day or every single time I get paid, I need to be doing a thing to make this goal become a reality. So say for instance, your goal was, I want to save $10,000. Now, if it was me, I would kind of get that down, like break it down a little bit more so that the 10K isn't really overwhelming, right? And from there, that kind of determines how much you should be saving, what you should be cutting back on, if you even need to make more money. So as you are ending out 2022, I would just encourage you to go back and look at those financial goals that you made at the top of the year. And with these, not a full 3 months, but with these couple of days that we have left, 60 plus days, what can you be doing to move the needle on your financial goals? What can you be doing? What can you cut back? What can you be doing to get there? If not, it's just going to be a whole nother year of 12 months have passed and you have not gotten in a better place financially. I'm telling y'all, it's not hard. It just takes a few mindset shifts. And maybe it's your education that you need to kind of like get up on. Maybe you need to listen to some more podcasts, read some more books. Maybe you need to get exposed to a little bit more so that you can actually accomplish the things that you want to accomplish financially. He said cook at home. Oh, yes, that's a big one. People spend so much money on food, including me. But I'm very conscious of how much I spend on food. But yeah, that's a huge one. Spending money, eating out, that stuff adds up. If you go to work and you buying lunch every single day, I know for a fact your lunch gonna be like between $10 and $15. So if it's 10 at the bare minimum, $50 a week, $50 a week, 4 weeks in a month, $200. Not counting when we go outside. Y'all already know it costs $200 to go outside, minimum. That's why I be in the house. Y'all know when you step foot out that door, it costs money. It costs money. So that's a $10 lunch. If you spending more than that on lunch, y'all, all of that stuff adds up. So you cannot sleep on the small stuff. They add up over time. But like I said earlier, this year is not over. Just be more intentional and be more conscious. Be more conscious of what you're actually spending. Let's see. Definitely got to cut out more liabilities and focus on more assets. Yes. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Especially because the last podcast episode that I just released in like the Developing a Rich Mindset series, that episode focuses on how you can take your income and change your income into assets. So many of us, we focus on, and y'all, these are literally words that I am repeating from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is why I keep telling every single person that I come in contact with to read it, because most of the things that I have learned about financial education have came from Rich Dad Poor Dad podcasts, YouTube videos, my own life, all of this different stuff. But anyways, in the episode, I talk about how you can take your income and turn them into assets. So we focus a lot on making more money as if that's going to change anything. But our main thing should be, how can I take my money and make more money? Meaning, how can I take this money and invest it into a business? Take this money and invest it into the stock market. Take this money and invest it in something that I don't necessarily have to work for. They talk about in the book, like, your money can work for you 24/7. We as people, we cannot work 24/7. For one, we gotta sleep. For one, we just don't have the bandwidth to perform. But if you get in your mindset that my income that I have coming in is here to take care of my expenses and for me to use to create more income, then you will be in a way better place financially. So what assets you can invest in, I'll talk about that on the podcast episode, whether that's the stock market, whether that's real estate, whether that's business. It's so many different things, y'all. And the list literally goes on. If you listen to the episode and you're like, dang, I don't really know a whole lot about this stuff, great. Go do some more research. The stuff that I share is literally for me to sow seeds. Because you're not going to get all the answers from one place. No matter who you're getting it from. You're not going to get all the answers from one place. Y'all, it's been nice chatting it up with y'all. Expect to see me every single Friday. I'm going to say every Friday at 3:00. I know today I was super duper late, but I just want to get back into my social media bag. I actually might start going live on TikTok instead of IG because I want to grow my account over there. But I'll definitely let y'all know. And this will be uploaded to YouTube for anybody who came in kind of late and didn't get the full live experience. It'll be on YouTube later on today. So does anybody have any questions before I end the live? Thank y'all so much for joining. Thank y'all for rocking with me this past hour. We had a very great conversation. It was really, really, really good. Does anybody have anything else that they want to add? While y'all thinking of something or putting it in the comments, I just kind of want to wrap up. So the whole purpose of this live was, for one, to remind you to budget every single time you get paid. No cookie cutter monthly budgets. No, I'm going to do it when I feel like it. No inconsistency. No. Budget every single time you get paid. Write your income, write your expenses for this pay period only, and then categorize your money. What are you spending? What are you saving? What are you investing? What are you giving? There are only 4 ways to use money as a tool. SSIG. Save, spend, invest, and give. The second thing, Christmas is coming up right around the corner. Make a list of everybody who you're going to be purchasing a gift for and how much you are willing to spend on that person. Do not go in them people's stores without a plan. The third thing that I talked about was the Developing Your Rich Mindset series. Today, I launched the final episode within the series. It was a 4-part series based off of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. So if you have not checked that out, make sure you go to YouTube, check it out. It should also be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast episodes. If you click the link in my bio, you can get access to all of that stuff. And last but not least, just be intentional. Be intentional with your coin. What is your why? What is your vision for your money? Why are you doing the things that you're doing? Or why are you not doing the things that you should be doing? That's a better question. Why are you not doing the things that you should be doing? So what is it? So yeah, that's all I got for y'all. Come back, meet me here again next Friday, 3 p.m. Invite a friend, tell them come get their whole financial life together. We just gonna be having these little chats about building up your foundation. And even if this needs to be your accountability to budget every single week or your accountability to get your money mindset together, I am totally okay with that. If y'all have any topics or anything that you want me to talk about specifically, let me know because I'm definitely open to it. So if there are no questions for me to answer, I'm going to end the live. It will be uploaded to YouTube later. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me, and enjoy the rest of your Friday. See y'all later.